What's up, everybody? It's the Black Bonsai Guy back here again. Today I'll be doing the styling on this Portulacaria Africa. That's the Latin name. We all know it as elephant's food. This plant is eaten by elephants in various parts of the world. I believe it's indigenous to Africa. This plant is also edible. If you eat the leaves of it, it kind of tastes like if you took a Granny Smith apple, you peeled off all of the skin and you just ate the skin alone. That's kind of how these leaves taste. They're full of nutrients. I'll just do a quick turn for you guys so you can see. So I have this in the back because the tree is in this small container and it's not balanced. So this is how the tree looks. And as I look around the tree, I see that there is some signs of a little bit of fungus on the trees, on some of the leaves. And that's not a big deal. We could treat that with a copper fungicide and that'll be gone. Not 100% sure what type of styling I want to do on this first. But the first thing I want to do is I want to get it out of this container and take a look at the roots. So what I'm going to do now is, actually I think I'm going to leave it in this container. And what I will do is find a rock to sit on there to balance it so it doesn't tip over, and I'll start taking out some things. So I'll pause the camera and I will be right back. All right, we back. So I found some rocks in the backyard that I was able to counterbalance this with. And I'm just gonna start at the bottom like I always do and work my way up. Again, using my pruner. Got a little box here. I'm gonna start throwing some trash in. And these things are easy to root. You can take the you can take cuttings of this tree in Arizona, since it's so dry. You can stick it directly in the soil and it'll start throwing out roots in 2 weeks or so. So you can slide this back, make sure it's not in your way. Hopefully you can see. Alrighty, what do we want to do? Y'all tell me what we gonna do here. So off top, I see a branch that's crossing back here. So that has to come out. That would be a nice little tree. See a branch in the middle that's not doing anything. That'll be another tree. Little nub here. Take that out. And this is a bonsai tool. It's called a melon cutter. What it allows you to do is to get in there and make cuts really close to the wood so that when it heals, you get a flush heal wound. So I see an area in there. I can't get to it right now that I need to take out, but I'll discontinue for now. Take that off. This is curling back in, but I can train it to go flat. So I will leave this for now. I'll leave that for now. Little area in there to clean up. Got some crossing over here at the bottom. Don't know what I want to do there. All right, this branch is coming down, but we can lift that up. it actually has really good structure. It has really good structure already. This tree really just needs wiring to be brought into the right levels and just trimmed up a bit. So I'll continue to work on this. And I'll come back as I have major updates. So I looked at it and it looks like most of these branches are in pretty good shape. It just needs to be wired. Now it's time to pick the front of the tree. So for the front of the tree, you want to show the portion of the tree that has the widest view of the trunk. You want to show the portion of the tree that has the most bends and turns in it, because that allows the eye to pick up the movement. And lastly, you want to pick the side of the tree that looks good, right? So typically in the traditional bonsai, you want to have the tree leaning towards you. So as you can see, let me remove this rock. Coming from the base of the tree is pretty uniform. It has good taper. So you're not going to have like a wide angle like you would on traditional bonsais. But you do have, let me see if I can tuck this branch, there we go. You do have lots of movement in the trunk. And I think this being the front, if you see how the tree just has lots of curves and twists and turns in it, that's very good for this bonsai. As you move around, you don't see as good movement until you get about right there. And when you look at it from this point of view, I'll go back. The angle is just not attractive. So generally you want a bonsai to lean towards you. And when it leans towards you, it's almost like it's bowing and it has the grace going to it. It just does not have the same trunk line, looking at it from this way, right? That does not look as good as this. So once you know the rules of bonsai, they say your job is to break them. So I'm gonna break the rules, because I can always, if I put this tree in the sun and I put some I can get this to lean towards me. I'm not worried about that. I think this has the right trunk line. It has the right movement, as you guys can see, again, going through the trunk movement. So I'm gonna use that to be my front. Put the rocks back on now. And what I'm gonna do is go get some bonsai wire and I'll start doing some wiring. So I'll be back. All right, here's a quick check-in. I've already started to do some of the wiring. As you can see, we have some, let me make sure you guys are getting the right angle. Yeah, there we go. It's already starting to shape up good. We have some branches down here that are not quite developed. So we have the wiring in place. And when I'm done wiring everything up, I'll go ahead and I'll start bending and do my final adjustments on everything. But it's starting to look good. You start to see the mini tree form that's coming about. You start to see more of this negative space. I took out a couple of large branches. Let me just do some minor ramifications here. So you take that guy out. Take that guy out. See how it's opening everything up? See, this one is just too long. You wanna take that out. And I have a split here, so I have to make a decision. Do I keep this branch here, or do I keep this one and wire it up? I almost want to get rid of this long one because it just doesn't fit the nature of everything else. So I'll take this out while I'm on camera. You can't be afraid to cut. That'll make another tree. And now I'll wire this in place and you can kind of see how everything's coming along. So let me get the wiring up again and I'll come back and do a quick check-in. All right, this is the status check-in. I'll do a quick little styling. You see that guy's coming in beautifully. Make sure you're getting the right, yep, that looks good. Let me just remove the rock. Don't worry about this over here. I haven't decided what I'm gonna do with that. I haven't gotten to the roots yet. I took a peek. They look like they are coming off of the same rootstock, so just getting this guy all wired up here. The next thing I'll do is I will wire these two branches, and I think I'll do that live so you guys can see how the process works. So you have bonsai wire, and this is aluminum wire, and it's coated in, I forget what it's coated in. It's coated in something. And what it does is it allows you to bend the wire, go in all different types of angles, right? And it has the ability to always snap back in place. So you can always save your bonsai wire and reuse it. I know there's some bonsai Nazis out there that don't do it, but I do it. So what you want to do is come in from the back, get us a nice wrap. You want to think 45-degree turns. You generally always wrap 2 branches at once, unless you can't wrap 2 branches at once. And you got to come up with clever ways to do it. For example, down here, this branch is no counter over here. So I wrapped the wire around the tree and used it as its own counter. So, you know, my bonsai, I typically leave a little extra wire for future growth. I don't want to come in while the wood is setting up on a tree and then have to add more wire because the tree is growing. So I leave a little bit for later. Let's get this side. This is the part that takes forever to get done. But this is how we do. So I just wired those guys up. Kind of want this branch to go down and then come back up. This branch to go down and come up. This branch to go down and then come up. See how that looks? And this one right here in the back, it's just taken away from the negative space. So we'll take it off. Take this one off. Again, this is the melon cutter, allows you to get in there. And they had a branch that was coming in. I took that guy off. See this little scab right there, that'll heal up nicely in a couple of years or so. See one more I want to take off. All right, still look at that right there. And if you can allow your mind to envision all of this going away, I'm about to take it out the pot, look at the roots, and start coming up with ideas for separating. I'll be back. All right, we back. So I took it out of the pot, combed out all of the dirt from the roots using a root comb. I rinsed the roots as best as I could for this time and determined that these branches over here, make sure you guys can see that. These branches are actually coming out of the root stock, so it's a part of the tree. So I know for sure that this is the front of the tree, right there. There's one coming out the back. I rotate so you can see. This one that's coming out the back that I don't need. So what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna take that off using my melon cutter. And that's off. Put that to the side and turn it into another tree. Again, this is the front of the tree right there. So now I have to decide, do I want this? Does it add to the tree? I could make it work. I think what I'll do is, I'll take this one off in the back. Clean this up a bit. And I can train this one to be a secondary tree. So I like that for now. As you can see, let me put it back in its pot. Still not balanced yet, so put it right there. All right, do a profile turn so you can see. Yeah, much better. Now, it's sitting low in this container. I'll raise this up to be at the appropriate height. But this is just a quick profile of the tree. And this branch right here, this is not doing anything for the tree. Take that off. I think that looks like a pretty cool tree. I'll do some minor tweaks to it, and then I will look for a bonsai pot to put it in, and we will go from there. All right, we back. So I made some changes from the time last checked in. I cut those trunks that was coming out the bottom of this off. I felt like it took away from the piece. I combed out the roots as much as I could. I cut some of the growth off. I found a pot that I think is suitable for it. Nice circular oval pot. Well, not oval, circular. Generally, when you have these types of lines in your pot, in your design, you want to go with, they consider this to be a feminine tree. And a feminine pot is one that's round. If this was straight up and it had thicker branches, if it had a thicker trunk, you will put this in a square or rectangle type of pot. But since this has nice, elegant curves, the appropriate pot for this would be the circular one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start adding some bonsai soil to it. Lay this down for a second. In this box right here, hopefully you can see, I mixed up some bonsai soil, and I use dry stall, shell, and black cactus soil. And I sift out all of the fines till I get a nice consistency. So I'm going to put some in the bottom. Like that, like a nice mound. Slide this out the way for now. And you use these to tie up your your tree, stop it from moving around. I'm trying to see which way I want to go with this. I think I want to tie it right there. And let me get these. Draw those up like that. And what I'm doing is I'm twisting it, and that's holding the plant in place. Now, there's a hole on the bottom over here. I'm gonna run this one through. Not conventional way to do this, but I wanted to use this piece of bonsai wire that I had. And this will do. There we go. Just to see how that fits in there. Looking good. Tighten this up a little more. All right, so what I'll do now is I'll go ahead on and I'll add some soil to this. Then I'll come back and show you how I tap everything down. All right, got it in the container. Use a chopstick and gently start working the soil into the roots of the newly potted plant. You want to make sure you take away any air pockets that might be in the soil. I'm hitting hard in certain areas and lighter in certain areas where I know there's no roots. Get some more soil. there's going to be some roots that are sticking up right here. I'll try my best to cover them. But if they stick up, that's fine. They'll eventually either become aerial roots where it can survive outside of the soil, or they'll just die off. So I'll continue to tap this in, do a good job of tapping this in, taking out air pockets, and I will come back to you all when we are done. All right, I'm back. Had to eat some food, take a shower, a little bit late in the day, and I dumped everything out because I forgot to show you guys the inside of the pot. So basically, a bonsai pot, it comes with holes in the bottom, and you don't want your soil to seep out of those holes. So what you do is you get these little screens, and you put these screens over the holes, and you get some bonsai wire, leftover bonsai wire, hopefully, and you stick it through the screen and put it through the holes. So hopefully you guys can see. I'm taking a piece of bonsai wire, and I'm going to take that and stick it through the screen like such, to where it's like that. And I'll separate these out, something like that. And I'll take this and I'll push that through the hole. All right. All right, and once you get it on the bottom, if you guys can see this, yes. So once it comes through the bottom of the pot, what you want to do is you just want to bend it down. Bend it down. And that's how the bottom of your pot should be wired. So you got your 4 wires in there, and that's used to hold the plant in place. So let me just put this over there again. Spread the roots out. Get a twist over here. That looks good. You get a twist over here. All right. Now what you want to do is take your pliers and twist it down. Holding on that side. Before I set that down there, let me just put some soil on the bottom. Now this wire is a little short, so what I'm going to do to make this work, I'm going to take a piece of wire, boom, pull this out and twist this together. Then I'll go around to the other wire and twist it off. So that should be held in place now. Looking good. Let's tighten this side up some more. All right. So now it's held in place by the wire. You can basically pick it up through the pot, which is good. Now we'll add our salt back in there. Back to my chopstick, working it in. Now, I started this earlier and got tied up with other stuff and couldn't go directly through. Typically, I would go directly through, but this is a succulent plant. All of the water is stored in the leaves. It can go months, like months, without getting water and still be able to survive. In fact, it doesn't even have to be in the ground. It could just literally be sitting on your on a counter, on a table, and it could be a cutting. As long as it's not wilted and the leaves are falling off, you could always bring these back. It's a great plant to do bonsai with in the desert. Because if you ever get tied up and you can't get to it, the plant is very forgiving. So I'll finish doing this and I'll come back and clean up. All right, we back. So I did a little bit of cleaning up. Still got a little bit more to do. This is the bonsai right there. This is the front. Hopefully you guys can see it. Just do a profile spin. Now what I'm gonna do now is I'm going to start doing some final adjustments to it. So for one, I need this branch to really grow out to kind of help counterbalance it. And there's two things coming out here. One of them is growing towards me. I don't have a problem with it right now because I want this to thicken up. And I want this one to thicken up for sure. So let me see if we can get a tighter wrap on this. Down. this right here is just the extra wire I'm expecting. I'm expecting this branch to branch out, so I left a little extra wire on there. I'll go ahead and just tuck that behind it. For now, bend this one back and down. Let me take this off. That would be nice if I wire this in. Go ahead. This is the front of it. We'll go ahead and take this one off right here. So now I'm just doing the little final things that helps to set a bonsai off. Oh, had something snap off on us. It's all good. It's gonna grow back soon. And it takes about, 5 to 8 years before you have something that's final. It's always evolving, always doing fine changes to it. And once it goes in a pot, you are considered the keeper of the plant, and you are to make sure that you feed it appropriately and do all that good stuff to it. So just want to create a little bit more negative space in here. So I'm gonna go up here and down. Let's see, down there. In fact, let me take this bottom one off. Do we want to do that? Let me take these off. So you guys can see, you take these off right here. And that opened it up some. I like that. Take this one off as well. Starting to look like something. Take these off from the back. This is getting a little too tall, so I'm gonna go ahead and bring this down to the first two so we can start ramification. And all ramification is getting dense foliage in a particular spot. So let me bend this back because this is for future growth. Now the bonsai Nazis, they'll come get me behind that, but I'm good with it. Like the bend in this one, just come back just a little bit more. There we go. Bend this one down just a little. I think we are done. again, this is the front. I'll put this down here so you know the front. And let's get a nice little profile. Now, over the course, as this plant starts to evolve, you may start to see different angles that suit the tree better. So you may change the front from being the front. Like this is the front again, and this is the back. I think both of those are pretty good. Pretty good, you know. I actually like that a lot. But that's all we'll do for now. I'll go ahead and soak this in some water from the bottom. And then I'll show you guys how to water bonsais out here in the desert. It may be slightly different than what they do in other parts of the world, because in Tucson, we're actually everywhere. What happens is when this sits out in the sun or in the shade all day, you'll start to build up an electromagnetic field around this pot. So if you come in there and you just hit it with a hose, the resistance from that electromagnetic field would actually resist the water. It will repel it, and water won't be able to get into the pot and, you know, soak the roots real good. So to combat that, one of the things you want to do is you want to just hit it, walk away, go water your other bonsais, come back, hit it, go water your other bonsais, other plants, come back and do a final water. So we water 3 times out here. 1 time for the pot, 1 time for the soil, 1 time for the tree. So that's how we do it in Tucson. So just a couple things to point out. This branch is too long, but I'm leaving it there because I like how it gives good counterbalance to the tree. The tree comes up, it goes this way, and then it comes back that way. It's almost as if this branch is providing a good counterbalance. So what we need to do over the course of the next few years is we need to get development down here on these lower branches. I want to get this lower branch to come out there. I want it to thicken up and provide that nice counterbalance down there at the bottom. And once we have that nice counterbalance down here at the bottom, then we can start thinking about other changes we'll make with the tree. But if you remember, we started off with this massive thing. We had a trunk coming out here, and we had a trunk coming out there. We cut all that down. I'm gonna go ahead and root that up and turn it to other plants, and we will be good to go. This branch is too long. Again, just growing it to thicken it up. Probably 2-3 months, I'm gonna start shaping it into be what I want it to be. Kind of want it to be a nice triangle, you know, a nice triangle, and have that feminine curve in it. So I think we did a good job on this. I appreciate everyone for taking the time to watch this. For some people, it may be boring. I get it. So what I recommend is when you're trying to find something to watch at night to go to sleep, put the Black Bonsai Guy on. Play all of my videos so I can get some playtime, and it would definitely be appreciated. I'm sure I could put you to sleep. So again, just as the front of the tree, I'll do one more profile. That's it. The Black Bonsai Guy.